Okay. Today I'm going to continue thinking about, I'm going to use some of the ideas I had about metrical hierarchy in the last video, and do a thing that I'm interested in right now, which is trying to recreate the feel of dance music with the sort of experimental electronic toolkit, but not EDM dance music, like traditional dance music. And the reason I'm thinking about this is because I've been listening to David Bruce, who's a classical composer, a modern classical composer whose work I like a lot. And I've been listening to his Gumboots, which is in two sections. And the second section is dances, and the whole thing's very good. You should go listen to it. I will put a link in the description. But in particular, the final dance, the last section of the piece, called Dance 5, is very good. And so that got me thinking about could I make interesting electronic music that sounds like interesting classical music imitating very old traditional dance styles. So I don't know. We'll see. So what I'm going to do today is not try and do any of the fancy stuff. And instead, I'm going to try and make something that sounds like a waltz. Because I think I understand the structure of, or the generic conventions of waltz enough to actually do that. So that's what I'm going to try and do. Okay, so to start with, I am going to establish a tempo, and I've been using sequences but I'll make a clock to start with to see. Waltzes tend to be fairly slow, so normally I would do 120 BPM, 60 is probably too slow, so I don't know, whatever that ends up being, like 90 or something. Okay, and so I want to be in, I already regret that, like this. Okay, I want to be in 3/4 time to be a waltz. So the same thing I did in the previous video, instead of a sequence that's going to help me establish the structure of the accents in my music. And so my first beat is the strong beat, and then I have 2 weak beats. And then I repeat that at tempo. Okay. Right. And so the way I know how to make something sound like a waltz is the pa accompaniment. Not all waltzes have that, and it honestly sounds kind of silly, but it's actually a common feature of waltz, and it sounds like a waltz with that accompaniment to me. So that's what I'm going to try and produce. So to do that, I need a chord, and then the way that's structured is the accompaniment part, which will be some sort of bass sound, plays the root of the chord on the first beat, and then the third and fifth of the chords together on the second and third beat. So it goes boom, ba, ba, boom, ba, ba. And you only get the actual chord sound on the second and third beats. And then whatever melodic stuff sort of goes above that. So I'm going to start with that accompaniment though. So first off, I need chords. So let's just do a chord motion. So we'll call this roots. Call this root, and it's just going to be a sequence. I don't know. And then it's also running at tempo. No, it's not running at tempo. So my tempo is my beats. I want a chord change every third beat to start with. So that's every bar of my 3/4 time. I think that's right. Okay. And then, so to do the bass sound, I'm gonna have just a real basic sine wave bass, I guess. I'm gonna have 3 of them. So there's gonna be bass 1, it's gonna be a sine, and it's going to be playing the root of the chord, and that's going to be in I'm just using my major scale quantizer because that is literally the only quantizer I have right now, although it would be quick to make another one, but this is just all I've got. Okay, but we're going to move it down an octave. Okay. So there's a thing, and right now that's just playing a continuous version of the root, which is not what I want. I need an envelope, and let's just give this a pretty quick attack, and then I want it to last most of a beat, and a beat is 1 over tempo, but I don't want quite the whole thing, so like 0.8 over tempo. I think that'll work. So it'll rise quickly, and then over the course of most of the beat, fall off. Not quite sure what that's going to sound like. And then it's going to take the clock off of the accent sequence. Okay, so now that should be play a note per beat. I think. So let's just see what that does. Okay, cool. That's pretty good. All right. So now I need another one of these guys. Well, yeah. I'm gonna need. Well, I'll come back to that. So now I need, since I only want the root playing on the first note, I need to figure out how to make that happen. So this sort of the simplest thing to do might be to just have a sequence that is first note. So this is going to be one on the first note, and then I'll make another one for the other 2 notes. This is a little inelegant, but whatever. Okay. I think this works. I have rests in my sequences. Yeah, cool. Good for me for already having implemented that. Okay. So now I'm just going to make my other bass voices. And this one is going to play something slightly above what the other one is playing. And I don't have tools to give me like actual musical intervals like a third or a fifth. And I could figure out, what exactly the right number here is. If it's like that, it was a third or something. But I just don't know. That's a thing I'm going to have to figure out how to do. Be a programmer and call this the tail. So this is a rest on the first note and active on the others. Okay, so that's my quantizer is forcing that to be the same note as the root, so. Something about that didn't sound right to me. It should be going one note and then the other note twice. I'm not hearing that. Why is that? Oh, it's because my... Okay, what is happening? This sequence and this sequence are not lined up. That's frustrating. Okay. I'm going to come back to that problem. That's what I'm expecting. Oops. How much? Let's see. There's 7 notes in an octave. In the scale, and they're, I think, roughly evenly spaced, not exactly evenly spaced. 1/7. No, whatever. Okay. So 2 different notes. That's fine. Actually need that. All right. So now here's the third one. And this is going to play on the same beats as space 2 plays, but it's going to play a different note. So it's going to play this. Bum, 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 bum. This feels too slow. Bum, 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 bum. Okay. So that gives me, obviously my intervals are wrong, and I should fix that. That seems a little dissonant. And that's still a little bit dissonant, but it actually sounds better to me, so we're just going to live with that for a bit. Now, at least you can hear there's a chord there. But what I don't have is an accent on this note. And I want that. So I'm going to do what I did in the last one, which was to tweak the attack by making it shorter on the accented notes. So let's try that. Also did there, make it sure it doesn't go to 0. You know what? This is dumb. I have a tool for this. And this is going to say when accents is 0.5. So if accents actually went down to 0, the let's say this would be 0. When accents goes up to 1, this goes to like, that's what I want is actually this, to flip it. Since these all have relatively short attacks, that doesn't actually, it's not giving me the same effect it did the last time I did that, so let's try this. Oh, I'm sitting here feeling confused about why that made the first note seem less emphatic. I'm still not entirely sure, because it should be 1 when that one hits and half the other times, but it's not playing, so it doesn't matter. These guys are always 1. So let's just make them always half as loud, because they're always on the offbeat. Okay, that for sure. Oh, because I have a typo. Did not work because it's wrong. It's a little bit of a clicky thump at the beginning, but okay, now they have distinct identities, at least a little bit, and it still doesn't really sound like anything. And part of it's because these voices are just super boring. So let's do something about that at least a little bit. Put some FM on it. Yeah. Pushing these a little out of tune, but you know, they weren't really in tune anyway. Okay. Good enough. I was going to try and make this sequence work, right? Because have some sort of chord movement. So the issue was that it seemed to be moving at a different time at the accents. So that's no good. So wow, something like that. Okay. Tempo. It's always just one off. I don't have a good way to offset it. Sort of a delay. This is weird, but I can do it. And put a delay of how many seconds? 1 divided by tempo. No. Delay like that. Oh, it's because sequence is special syntax. I can't. Not actually flexible enough to do that yet. Until I can make sequences the same as a regular node constructor, I actually can't. I can't write that. That is something I want to do. Okay. I think that is timed right now. Okay. Even to my ears, this sounds pretty out of tune, but I'm just going to roll with it. And at least it's synced up right. Okay. So now let's think about what kind of a melody. So I think like a waltzy melody is going to be pretty smooth, relatively slow. So let's just do just some LFOs on top of the root. I think that'll work. Rather than a sequence, make it random, or randomish. Actually random. Let's do that. Okay. So melody pitch is going to be our root, the current root, which is one octave above what the bass is playing. That's fine. Plus rescaled noise, and I think about what this value should be later. Noise is between -1 and 1. It also has a frequency. Okay, so that's going to give me the root plus or minus a fifth of an octave. We'll see. The problem is that's jumpy, it's not smooth motion. And I want smooth motion. So the way I do that is I stick up what I recently learned is also called a skew limiter. And say that you're not allowed to change, or takes you half a second. Okay. Now we'll give this, just to start with a sine wave, it's going to play quantized major of that melody. And this is definitely going to want some kind of envelope. So we'll make this a little bit smoother. So, well, actually, give it the same note lengths as the bass notes have, which is most of a beat. So basically quarter notes is what this is. Okay, no accent stuff yet on this. Let's just see what that sounds like. Okay, that portamento thing is not working. Let's make it longer than that. Let's do a sample holds here, triggered on, so I get one note per sounding. Okay, what did I do? No, this. Once again, my cat has come in and is unhappy that she can't sit on my lap while I'm doing this. Oh, what am I doing wrong? SH. Oh, there's a space. I need to fix that. It's just annoying. And it would be easy to do. Okay. That actually doesn't sound half bad. Okay, I want more depth here. So it was the reason it wasn't audibly changing as much is because the noise takes a frequency, which is sort of how often it changes value, and it was changing so quickly that once you put this slew on it, it basically just never left the average value, and so it's effectively not doing anything. But now it's slower, and it's going to change. It's going to change basically once per beat, and then this smooths that out a little bit. And so now we get that sort of sounds kind of like a stepwise wandering up and down the major scale, rooted at whatever the current root of my chord is. Okay. You know, not much of a melody, but it's okay. Okay, so let's say I don't need to play every note. But sometimes I might play faster than quarter notes. And so in order to do that, I need probably this. So now we're at sort of 8 notes tempo. My sample and hold doesn't work anymore because this clock is fixed at quarter notes. So just for expediency, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go do it accents for 8th notes, which is going to be the same as the one for quarter notes, just doubled. I think that'll work. I have the right number here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. And so this is going to get off of not accents, but 8th accents. And this also. These notes now need to be shorter. Oh, it's not contained cycles. What did I do wrong? 'What if I don't hit every note? Basically. So, my trigger is a Bernoulli gate, which gives me the ability to control the probability that something will actually sound. And so the probability I'm going to start with is 1, it will always sound. And this is my master clock for this. Okay, so that's the same because my probability is 100%. But now if I say, hey, we're only play 80% of the notes. Oh, I've done this wrong. Because this doesn't work the way I think it works. There we go. That's better. Yeah. Because it's the tempo determines how long each item is, independent of the length of the series, length of the list. And I forgot to make the tempo faster. So now we're actually doing 8 notes. Okay, cool. Things, maybe this is too long. I don't actually need to split this line, but it's getting rather complicated. Now, I was doing all this stuff with FM a few days back, which I liked, and now I've gone back to, regular, boring, subtractive synthesis. Maybe I should reconsider that. So before it was sounding too slow, now it's sounding too fast again. These notes seem too short. Well, not quite a waltz. But, I don't know, kind of interesting. like, not great, but kind of waltzy. Didn't really capture it as much as I had hoped. I'm not entirely sure why. So I may come back to this and try another iteration. But in general, that felt pretty good. Like my tools continue to get better, which is nice. Lets me do stuff like this. Okay, that's it. I'm done.